Hi there, Spartans. Welcome back to First Chapter Friday with Miss Slattery. Today I have an oldie but a goodie for you. So, if you have never read the book Holes, or seen the movie, I suppose, by Louis Sachar, this is an amazing kind of middle grades young adult read. It has a male protagonist, and he is sent away to a camp where they have to dig holes. It kind of goes back and forth between, Stanley, he's the main character, and what happened in this town years past to kind of bring them all to this place. It is funny, it's engaging. I remember recommending this book to my little brother who hates reading, and he loved it. So it's a classic. I think by this point, hopefully most students, have had a chance to read this book, but if you haven't, get your hands on it. It's a good one. So I'm going to go ahead and read the back cover, and then we'll actually read the first two pages because it's only, or the first two chapters because it's only about 3 pages. Okay. So on the back it says Holes by Louis Sachar. Stanley Yelnats is under a curse. A curse that began with his no good, dirty, rotten, pig stealing great great grandfather and has since followed generations of Yelnats. Now Stanley has been unjustly sent to the boys' detention center, Camp Green Lake, where the boys build character by spending all day every day digging holes exactly 5 feet wide and 5 feet deep. There is no lake at Camp Green Lake, but there are an awful lot of holes. It doesn't take long for Stanley to realize that there's more than character improvement going on at Camp Green Lake. The boys are digging holes because the warden is looking for something. But what could be buried under a dried up lake? Stanley tries to dig up the truth in this inventive and darkly humorous tale of crime and punishment and redemption. Okay, so again, this is kind of what the cover looks like for you. All right, and we're going to dive right in. 2 chapters today because they are quite short. There's part 1. Okay, and part 1 says, you are now entering Camp Green Lake. Chapter 1. There is no lake at Camp Green Lake. There once was a very large lake here, the largest lake in Texas. That was over 100 years ago. Now it's just a dry, flat wasteland. There used to be a town of Green Lake as well. The town shriveled and dried up along with the lake and the people who lived there. During the summer, the daytime temperature hovers around 95 degrees in the shade, if you can find any shade. There's not much shade in a big, dry lake. The only trees are 2 old oaks on the eastern edge of the lake. A hammock is stretched between the 2 trees, and a log cabin stands behind that. The campers are forbidden to lie in the hammock. It belongs to the warden. The warden owns the shade. Out on the lake, rattlesnakes and scorpions find shade under rocks and in the holes dug by the campers. Here's a good rule to remember about rattlesnakes and scorpions. If you don't bother them, they won't bother you. Usually. Being bitten by a scorpion or even a rattlesnake is not the worst thing that can happen to you. You won't die. Usually. Sometimes a camper will try to be bitten by a scorpion or even a small rattlesnake. Then he will get to spend a day or 2 recovering in his tent instead of having to dig a hole out on the lake. But you don't want to be bitten by a yellow-spotted lizard. That's the worst thing that can happen to you. You will die a slow and painful death. Always. If you get bitten by a yellow-spotted lizard, you might as well go into the shade of the old oak trees and lie in that hammock. There's nothing anyone can do to you anymore. Okay? And then chapter 2, very short. The reader is probably asking, why would anyone go to Camp Green Lake? Most campers weren't given a choice. Camp Green Lake is a camp for bad boys. If you take a bad boy and make him dig a hole every day in the hot sun, it will turn him into a good boy. That was what some people thought. Stanley Yelnats was given a choice. The judge said, you may go to jail, or you may go to Camp Green Lake. Stanley was from a poor family, and he had never been to a camp before. Okay? So again, guys, this is an award-winning text. It is a great addition to your library. I have a copy here. I'm sure Mrs. Brunetti, would have a good way to get your hands on a copy as well if you want to ask her. All right? So hopefully you enjoyed this First Chapter Friday, and have a good weekend. Bye-bye, guys.